the most popular way that a human being communicates with a machine in 2025 is something that was invented in like 1868. The typewriter, the QWERTY typewriter, is still the most common form of human computer interfaces. It would probably be Meta. I think they've done a good job of creating a VR headset that's like a gaming console. Like there's all these cool experiences built into it, but still people aren't using VR AR as their workstation. And I think that's largely because typing is an unsolved problem for them.
Welcome to Manufacturing Insiders. Today I have Riley Keene with me. He is an inventor, and he is one of those brave souls that made the jump from corporate America and decided to follow his passion and is making quite a success of it. And I'll tell you what, this product is super, super cool. The tagline is type at the speed of thought, I believe, which is a pretty fascinating concept. So welcome to Manufacturing Insiders, Riley.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
So tell us about CharaChorder.
CharaChorder, yes. So type at the speed of thought is a concept of just reducing anything that gets in the way of encoding what is in your brain and having that communicated to a machine. So the most popular way that a human being communicates with a machine in 2025 is something that was invented in like 1868. The typewriter, the QWERTY typewriter, is still the most common form of human computer interfaces, what we call HCI. And at CharaChorder, what we've done is we've looked at all the different types of interfaces that have ever been invented, and we've taken the best qualities of each of them. And what we have come up with is something that it looks pretty radical to your average user. And it's something that can just completely change the way that you interface with machines. So our best-selling product, the CC2, it uses three-dimensional rather than one-dimensional switch technology for starters. So you kind of wiggle your fingers around in different directions to output individual letters. And then it also has what's called fluid coded character entry. So in addition to having that instantaneous access to every keyboard input, you also have 17 billion plus different combinations of chorded inputs. If you've ever played like a guitar or a piano, you might be familiar with the concept of chording. That's just instead of hitting letters sequentially one at a time, you can hit lots of keys together at the same time. And all of those different billions of possible combinations can all be programmed to unique outputs.
That's pretty amazing. So when somebody decides that they want to do this, like what does it take to learn how to do it? Like how do you go from spending your entire life using a keyboard to picking one of these up and being proficient with it?
Yeah, I think the learning curve is definitely the thing we get asked about the most, because trying to rewire your brain to relearn how to type is it's not an easy thing to do. And the longer you've been using QWERTY, probably the harder it is to do. If you've been using a QWERTY keyboard for 60 or 70 years, then trying to relearn how to type from scratch is going to be incredibly difficult. We do make QWERTY-based products for those who don't want to relearn how to type from scratch and still have the chording capability and some of the other intelligent features in CCOS. But if we're talking strictly our bestseller with the 3D switches and a completely new layout, that's something that will typically take somebody at least a month to get up to average QWERTY speed at 40 words per minute. So it does take some time. We recommend getting a solid foundation in character entry before switching to chording. But the beauty of it is, so CharaChorder, the name of our company, is a combination of the words character and chord. And we are big believers that both individual inputs as well as corded inputs. Neither of those should be more important than the other, but it's something that really it's up to the user, and it's up to every individual person is going to be using the device differently. We want everyone to be able to always fall back on that individual character entry, but we also want to have basically an infinite ceiling. So how far you can take this device is really only limited by your own brain.
Right. Yeah, and I think what you mentioned before too is that you could kind of stick with sort of your traditional typing scenario, but even if you could replace 20, 30, 40, 50 words with a chord, it's still going to dramatically increase your performance when it comes to typing, right?
Yes, yeah, bingo. So if you only learn 100 chords, that's 50% of written English. So most people, I think, don't quite realize how repetitive the language that we speak is. But being able to fluidly swap in and out, throw in a chord here and there, and then fall back on the character entry, I think, is a major benefit to our system compared to other chorded entry methods. Another thing that's important to consider is that a lot of people just use our product purely for ergonomic reasons. So you have drastically less finger motion, drastically less strain required to use the device. So purely for the sake of saving your fingers is another big reason people use it. And not everybody even has to learn chording or utilize a ton of chording to benefit from the device.
Oh, that's fascinating. So how did you get the idea to do this? Where did, what prompted it?
Sure. Yeah. So my background's in accessible technology. Used to work for Georgia Tech as well as Toyota, working on assistive technology. And the original inspiration came from coming up with a device where people with limited dexterity in their fingers, people that have that may not be able to communicate in the way that you and I take it for granted, how could they be able to keep pace in a normal conversation and be on a level playing field, so to speak? So we do a lot of open source work as well on that side. You might check out some of our voice box videos for people that are nonverbal or deaf or hard of hearing. But that's sort of where it started as I built out that assistive technology. Of course, I had to learn to use it and very quickly realized that this is better than a keyboard in every possible way. So this is something that everyone can benefit from in some facet or another.
Yeah, I mean, and there is a lot of applications. I even think about if you're trying to take notes, which honestly anymore with AI, like I use AI recording for my calls, so I assume a lot of that's alleviated. But in college, you're trying to take notes on a computer, and it's like there's no way you can keep up with the speed at which somebody's speaking unless you're an excellent typer. But I think with this, you could.
So, yes, a lot of people use CharaChorder for dictation purposes. Transcriptionists are using it. But anybody that uses a computer or types anything really could benefit from it. We have a lot of software developers using it. We have a growing user base of gamers. With less finger motion, you have faster reaction times. So there's a competitive advantage there. Yeah. Our aim is to make a total keyboard replacement. Nobody really loves the QWERTY. It's just sort of become this like 100-year-old habit that everybody is too scared to break. And a lot of people say that what we're doing is impossible in trying to overcome that. But I think that's part of the fun and part of the challenge. Objectively, our product is pretty much better than QWERTY in every way. But still, just that cultural challenge is a lot bigger than the technological one. So there's a lot we need to do as far as gamifying the process of learning, as far as making it as accessible and affordable as possible so we can get it into everyone's hands. That is a tremendous challenge.
Right. Yeah, it's an interesting concept, and it's one that I've had with a couple new product development companies recently, where you have to introduce some sort of familiarity, so people, it isn't a totally foreign thing, but you're allowing them to kind of taste the benefits of the product kind of an iterative fashion. So that is a unique challenge.
Yeah.
What is the adoption? What is the adoption right now? Like how many units have you put out there?
We've sold, I think, around 10,000 units so far.
Okay.
And yeah, we consistently get very positive feedback. We have a very low return rate compared to most e-commerce brands. So I think the sky's the limit as far as how far we can go. Given how ambitious taking over QWERTY is, I see it as something that has started pretty slow. Like, I've been working on this for like a decade. So it's cool to finally start to see like the snowball effect coming into play, to seeing just organic people coming in and getting new devices every day and just starting to see it grow from such a grassroots approach. But I do think there's going to be a tipping point. There's going to be a point of momentum where things really start to take off, or at least I'm optimistic of that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I don't know if that's like product placement in, television shows or, things like that just kind of make people think, oh, well, I want to try that. That guy's using it.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of marketing, or at least we haven't in the past, but that's something that we want to be a little more aggressive about this coming year, is in educating, getting our product in front of more people, and just making people aware of how awesome the product is. As great as it is to have organic sales and organic growth, there's no reason why we can't compete with the major keyboard brands, or partner with them. We're open to both.
Right. Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, and you're talking to the right guy for marketing. That's me.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my main business. I own a WeCreate, which is a manufacturing marketing agency. So we work with people that develop products, people that do manufacturing processes, and kind of the full gamut. But so you're working at Toyota, and you've had this idea. What's the first step you take to actually bringing it into reality? Like, how do you do that?
Well, CharaChorder started a lot longer before Toyota. First off, I guess the first step was just to start hacking together prototypes. So the first ones that I built didn't even have custom circuit boards. I hacked circuit boards of some existing products, 3D printed housing and the switches, and reprogrammed everything to kind of experiment with the placement and the ergonomics, figure all that out. And then, of course, once I knew exactly what I was even designing, then I could get into designing that custom circuit. The first circuits I made, it was Sharpie, ferric chloride, and photo developer that I was able to make for just like, I don't know, 10 or 20 bucks in my garage. I've still got some of those old prototypes that are fun to look at and see how far we've come.
So you've been able to do most of the design work and the electronics work yourself?
Yeah, for prototyping, for sure. Yeah. In mass manufacturing, for production right now, we outsource. One of the only things that we outsource overseas is the PCB assembly, just because it's like 4 to 6 times, sometimes 8 times more expensive to do that in the United States. But yeah, everything is, we design custom in-house, and we have the capability at least to produce. But at scale, it sometimes does help to use supply chain.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's got to be very exciting. I mean, to see something that you worked so hard on for so long and see the positive market reaction from it, I mean, that's a really cool experience.
Yeah, definitely. It's super fun. If I had $1 billion, I would be doing the exact same thing. So
that's even better. How many people get to say that? So, how big's your team?
So we've got about a dozen team members. We're a pretty decentralized group. Some are full-time salaried, some are hourly, and some are sweat equity.
I see. Okay. And so you said decentralized. So you have maybe some engineers that are working remotely and things like that, but then maybe you have some people on location doing assembly. Is that kind of the way it works?
Yeah, so all the production and assembly takes place at our headquarters in Dallas. But we have overseas developers. We have people that are just spread out across the country that are doing software development or firmware development, things of that nature that they don't necessarily have to be on site.
I see. So this is something where you really have to consistently improve the product design. Like it isn't like you brought this product to market and this is the end of the story. Like what kind of improvements can you make from here?
Oh gosh, yeah, we make improvements every year. So we just launched the CC2 less than a year ago. It's got greater longevity, switch technology. It stores several times as many different chord maps, has faster processing speed. It's got a triple material anti-slip caps on it, and a few other kind of quality of life improvements in addition to the improved training program that we just launched. The software is a big piece that we're always trying to improve on as well, making that experience of onboarding and learning as fun as possible to the point where that is even a selling point. Like people will. I'm inspired a lot by Guitar Hero, who has convinced tens of thousands of people to buy these giant plastic guitars and build a skill that is completely useless in reality. But
Right.
the thing about our product is that you do build a perhaps the most useful skill in the digital age, your ability to communicate with computers. So I think being able to take an experience like that and just make typing as sensational as possible and as gamified and engaging as possible is something that will be a very important part of our journey. If you look at some of our recent YouTube videos, you might see and get some hints on what I'm talking about.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I was going to ask for an example, but I could check it out. Like, can you roughly describe some of the strategies, just, for someone that's listening?
Oh yeah, for sure. So, for instance, we just did a partnership with Team Water where every character that you type on our website, every word that you type on our website, you earn a day of clean water for someone in need. So we have what's called a typographic currency. The currency is called CARE on our website on adventure.CharaChorder.io. And every time that you publish a message in our proprietary chat room, you mine 1 care for every character that you type. And you can use that care that you've mined to purchase different skins for your character, different weapons, and different equipment that will change the animations of what you type, will change the sounds of when you're typing, change your background and customize the experience of learning. But it's heavily community driven. Our CCIO is still in open beta, but we're planning to launch it at QuarterCon this year. And every message that you type is recorded. So anytime you scroll back through your chat log, imagine you press a replay button and you can see not only what somebody typed, like you can in most chat logs, but you can see how they typed it. And it even has like a words per minute meter. It shows how much they mined through that message. You can challenge that message and it'll automatically take that content and plug it into your training software. You can pull different chords from what other people are using and it'll automatically write it to your device. So just creating a really integrated and unique approach to learning human-computer interaction.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. I mean, that's a lesson I think anybody in new product development could take away is how to gamify. And those are really interesting strategies. I mean, development heavy strategies too. I mean, you're not only having developed the product, but you're having to develop some crazy stuff.
Hey, well, development's easier when you can type at the speed of thought.
True. Yeah, that's yeah, I can imagine. I mean, because I mean, obviously, being in an agency, my developers sit there and type code all day long. I can only imagine how much more productive this would make them. What is the impact of what do you envision the impact of AI to be on the use of your device? And the reason I ask that is, it seems to me that with AI, you're over time reducing the amount that you even have to type, at least in some applications.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I wonder, how do you feel that that's going to influence your growth trajectory, whether for the positive or the negative?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I think that AI will reduce the amount of time people spend on typing large bodies of text and on finding data in general, generally speaking. But gosh, I mean, I use AI in everything that I do on a daily basis at this point. Probably of all the text that I type in my computer on a daily basis, probably at least 50% of that text is typing to an AI. I think AI actually makes me type more. But yeah, if your job was like being a grant writer or something, then maybe you'd be typing less. The average behavior, like typing behavior of a typical computer user, I think is not just to sit down and write like a 500-word essay or something like that. Most people, they're typing a couple sentences and then they're navigating somewhere else. They're typing a couple sentences, they'll navigate somewhere else. They'll send a message here, they'll go over here, they'll send an email here, they'll go to Google, they'll type a search query here, they'll go to ChatGPT, they'll type a prompt here. Like it's very intermittent and sporadic, which is why I think a hybrid approach is so important compared to something like stenography, where you're just sitting there all day, just word. We're just like only conversational. And keep in mind that chording and CharaChorder is not limited to alphanumeric text entry. So all of your hotkeys, all your shortcuts, all your layered key maps, it's amazing for CAD modeling, for photo editing, video editing, any program that you just want instant access to every tool literally at your fingertips. It's a great solution.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. Like, I copy paste things all day long. And so, I mean, that would be super cool. And also, like, I do screenshots of things, which is kind of an annoying shortcut of like Control Shift S or something like that. And it's like, that would be awesome to be able to shortcut that.
Yeah, you'll never run out of chords for whatever you want to automate. Anything that a mouse or keyboard can do, basically, you can assign to a chord.
That's fascinating. Well, no, I mean, I think this is a no-brainer product. And as far as the kind of the pricing model, you said that it's pretty approachable for most people.
Oh yeah, yes, it's very competitive with existing premium keyboards. Our cheapest product is I think close to $100. The CCX. The Lite, the QWERTY version is only like $150, and then the CC2 is currently at $250, which was a reduction from the CC1 that was at $300. So we really do everything we can to make it as affordable as possible.
That's very cool. Do you see a day where when you go and buy your Lenovo computer, it actually has CharaChorder keyboard integrated with it?
For like a laptop integration?
Yeah.
So our current plan, our business strategy for getting into laptops and other computers that have embedded peripheral devices is through emulation. So we have CharaChorder 0, which is a software version of CCOS that we're planning to make free. for anybody to start using. There are some limitations when it comes to emulation. It depends on how the key matrix was designed on every keyboard, that it may have some dead spots, especially if it's like a crappy membrane keyboard. But yeah, so that's sort of our lowest barrier of entry to product that you could download and use on any computer or even like on a Chromebook potentially. But integrating a CharaChorder into a portable computer is something that I've done through modding, like with a tablet style Windows computer. But it's
Okay.
something that I think we'll probably need to build a little bit more momentum and adoption to where a company that size would have enough incentive to partner with us. But I do hope that that's in the near future. I don't think that's probably going to happen in the next year or so, though.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, once it becomes kind of commonplace for people to use it as an addition to their computer, it's only a natural progression to integrate it directly.
And it's also, I don't even know if that style, like laptop style computers, I don't know how much longer those are even going to be around, because we've seen quite a big advancement in wearables technologies, wearable displays, wearable computing, and I think CharaChorder has a big role to play in making that side of our tech future more accessible too. So we've got a pretty large. There's a Reddit page that's pretty active of where we have a wearable attachment for the CharaChorder that are using wearable displays already with our product and with wearable computers. And I really think if I had to pick one company that would be amazing to partner with for us, that I would be open to an acquisition or a deeper level of partnership, it would probably be Meta. I think they've done a good job of creating a VR headset that's like a gaming console. Like there's all these cool experiences built into it, but still people aren't using VR AR as their workstation. And I think that's largely because typing is an unsolved problem for them. But it's a problem that I think that we've solved. Yes, there's some cultural barriers there in adoption, but yes, a deskless workspace, a wearable workspace with CharaChorder is certainly the best option available to date by a very large margin.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's very interesting. Yeah, I always wondered why VR AR didn't take off that way. Like I remember like 5 years ago, people would get some of these VR headsets and play with different games, looking goofy, running around the room. But then it just kind of like went away. I
would say that it's still growing. I think there's a lot of amazing experiences. Like I played Half-Life Alyx. I'm not a huge gamer, but oh my gosh, like that blew my mind how real that was. To not just press square to reload, but you're actually like you are reloading the gun and all of your weapons like have different mechanisms. Like it's like you're there when there's some crazy thing chasing you. It's a whole different world. And the potential is limitless. But yeah, I do think that it's typing in VR. It sucks. It's really bad. I don't know if you've ever typed with those controllers where you have to like point at every letter. I have a friend of mine runs a research lab at Georgia Tech, and he tried to teach a VR development class where you would develop in a VR environment. But the problem was every time you had to type something, even if it's just a couple characters, you got to lift up your goggles, type it. Okay, now you go back in.
Yep.
Then you lift it up again, type something. And it's just like, you don't want to be groping around your desk trying to find those little like nubs on your home row every time. It just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And with CharaChorder, it's not only is it something that you can very easily use blind, but it's also something that's way more wearable and comfortable than any sort of contraption you could devise to attach a QWERTY keyboard to your belt or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's really cool, and I'm impressed by your obvious intellect and your creativity in the developing different adoption strategies. And I can only imagine what a heavy lift it was to develop this product and to get it to the point where you sold 10,000 units. So very impressive. I'm excited for you, and I think it sounds like it's going to be a huge success.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, thanks for coming on today, Riley. Enjoyed chatting with you, enjoyed learning about this. Man, I think I might have to buy one. Start trying to learn it.
Yeah, well, let me know if there's anything that I can do to help you on your journey.
Okay, I will. Yeah, I mean, I'm a big writer. I write a lot of articles. Obviously, spend my whole day at a computer writing messages, so it'd probably be a huge benefit for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool, man. Well, hey, thanks for coming on today, and we'll chat soon.
Sounds good. Thanks for the chat, Nate.